Hello. Good evening. So, you know how I am about being on time for things. It just didn't work out for me tonight. I wasn't even the one cooking. Tim, I married a good looking man who can cook. He started dinner a little bit later than usual. We had these chicken tacos that were pretty good, but in order to have enough time to enjoy what he made, I had to push the time for it a little bit. And the cool news too, which I have, I guess, different pieces of news to share with you, is I ordered the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot deck months ago on pre-order. And I got it through Amazon and I got it in tonight. I have not opened it up yet to play with it, but I'm so stoked because I watched Buffy growing up. So I think I'm going to love that deck. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the imagery looks like on it. I may end up doing a show and tell on the deck, just so you guys can see it, because I know I have a lot of people in our group that are close to me as far as age-wise goes. I am 44. I am considered Generation X. However, I know that it's still popular with, say, the younger generation too. So I think you guys would get a kick out of seeing the cards. As far as today, a very major piece of news is that I found another job, which no worries. I'm still going to do my small business and we'll still do things as a group and all that good stuff. I'll probably have to change the timing and how I do things to balance it out, but I'll figure it out because I'm resourceful. So the good news is like many of you know, I am a registered nurse, and this year makes 13 years I've been an RN. And I've been away from the hospital bedside for just over 2 years. I've been doing things outside the hospital. I am about to tread back into the hospital, working a medicine floor at MOBAP on day shift. Day shift is a hard to find thing when you're new to a hospital. Generally, you know, people have to start on nights. But from what they told me, their people are happy on nights. Nobody wanted that day spot. And so I was able to secure that. And so I'm looking at starting toward the end of this month. I believe, I'm not good with numbers. I want to say it might be the 27th. It's that last week of March, that Monday I'll be starting. I'm so stoked. I think I missed it more than I thought. I look forward to working with other nurses. And what I love about BJC, especially if you're from this area, they're always big on research and advancing what they know about medicine. So whenever I've worked for them in the past, I enjoy, learning and working with other nurses and doctors to grow on my knowledge base. I'm really excited. I know it's going to be challenging and all that good stuff, but I look forward to it. So that's something, that, and I will be announcing soon additional craft fair dates. I have been looking at dates coming up that I could do, some in-person readings. So as I get these dates confirmed, I'll put them on my website, www.mountaincrowtarot.com, under events. And of course, I'll announce them in my group. And I'm thinking, I think other than that, it's been good. It's been a really good day. Hello, good evening. I see somebody hopped on, but I'm not able to see who hopped on. So I'll keep my eyes on the comments to see who's with me. Of course, welcome. So we are going to continue our journey through the court cards for Wands tonight with the Queen of Wands. I'm going to hold her up so that you can look at the imagery here. She's such a beautiful queen. Out of all the queens, I love the energy of this card. Maybe it's because I'm partial to sunflowers, because sunflowers they stand tall, they're big, beautiful, bright, cheerful. And plus, growing up, my mother had a garden. And I remember one year in particular, she grew a big long row of sunflowers. And so when we harvested the sunflowers, we took those big heads, the center, those are sunflower seeds. And so we would use those seeds to feed our birds. So I have very good memories of sunflowers, even though it kind of wears at your fingers doing that, it's a little bit of kind of challenging work doing that, So there's different things going on here. So we're just going to, dive right in. So with this card, we are talking about an energy. It can be male or female. Again, I always say this with every go live in case somebody's new to my tarot teaching moments and they need to know this stuff. Even though there's a female pictured on this card, we are talking about the energy. Okay, so with it being wands, we're still talking about that fiery energy. Okay, just think about a wand, or, not one, but like fire, and how it just wants to expand and grow. With what we have here is, so we have somebody who is like, how do I put this? Very disciplined. So this character is very confident, charismatic, charming. They can be referenced to, say, a go-getter. They like for people to share in that energy. So say this personality type may not necessarily mesh well for people who are more hesitant, or if they don't share that energy, it can put off the Queen of Wands energy, because we're still talking about a queen. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about somebody very self-aware, very observant of her environment. She knows how to influence people, to inspire them and obtain outcomes on various things, even if she's not actually a leader. Like, say if she's not actually appointed as like a manager or supervisor, she is seen as a role model and leader among those that she's with, despite obviously she's a queen in this picture. But again, we're talking about the energy. These are the people that you work with that when they enter the room, they own that room. They light it up. They know how to work with a crowd. So with this energy, and again, you can look it up. I don't want you guys thinking I'm like the perverse one, because at times I do mention sex with these tarot teaching moments. Her legs are wide open. That was purposely done. The Queen of Wands, and even Rachel Pollack says this in her book, Tarot Wisdom, that I have. This stance, the way that she is looking at us, and it's not even directly. You see how she's kind of got that little playful look? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she knows that she's beautiful and she's got everything going on. She doesn't have to try hard to accomplish this. She knows that. But again, look at her legs and where her knees would be. So this is somebody who is very proud of their sexuality and is not ashamed. So this figure will not be ashamed of their body. So say, for example, so for romantic relationships, or even if, there isn't romance involved, they tend to be very passionate lovers, very good at that endeavor. We'll put it that way. So we are seeing, of course, we have the crown that's yellow in coloration, and her robe is also yellow. So again, when we think of yellow, it's just like the color of these sunflowers. It's all the various descriptors that we associate with the color yellow. We have warmth, illumination. We can see where we're going. There's knowledge there. And Rachel Pollack pointed it out in her book that I was reading. This sunflower that you're seeing here, that she is holding with her left hand, is taken right out of the energy of this major arcana card, the sun, where we have sunflowers. This is the only other card out of all 78 cards that has the sunflowers from the Rider-Waite-Smith. So again, we're talking about that fiery energy, which with the sun, that's the same energy. And here she is, and she's holding it very well. So we have a mastery there. And unlike, say, the page in their thinking stage, very much in their head, and the knight rushing forward to execute a plan, and with that excitement, with our queen, we're having a mastery here. So anytime in tarot you see, say, for green growth, trees, flowers, you're seeing that change, the evolution and mastery, to where there's a control over that element to produce whatever result, whether it be relationships, careers, money, that type of thing. It's a very good indicator. And then her wand she has with her right hand. And they pointed out in the literature I read, there are some sprigs of green on here. You know, so this is somebody again who manifests. So she has an intent and she can manifest it. She knows how to control that fiery, passionate excitement, that energy that comes with this fiery wand energy, and she knows how to focus it for her ends, her means, her outcomes. Now, these lions that you're seeing, okay, look at the throne that she's sitting on, and then off to the sides, we have that Leo energy. So not that that's even my thing. I'm not the strongest astrologer. And, you know, honestly, you really have to study it to really know what you're talking about with astrology. But I think it's commonly known with Leos. They have a lot of this wand energy that we're talking about tonight. Very charismatic, charming. They're confident. They're so confident it can be a little off-putting. So this figure can be seen as self-centered. When they're upright, they're not self-centered. They're knowing how to carry themselves well, and I believe that could come off as like intimidating for those who may not be as strong with their gifts as what this character is. But they're not trying to intimidate anybody. This is just who they are. This is also a very intuitive person. So you notice in sharp contrast to all these bright, vivid colors, we have a black cat. And what that stands for, after I researched it, because I figured it had a little bit of a witchy undertone to it, and I thought of my black cat Loki that I adopted last year. But what the black cat stands for would be the occult, mysticism, witchcraft. So the reason that it's in this card stands for she's really strong with her intuition. And so when we're looking at this little black cat, again, referencing the occult, witchcraft, mysticism, this is somebody who, again, is very sexually confident, adventurous. They're very attuned to their bodies and nature and their connection to nature. Again, being very productive and fruitful and just literally owning that energy. So that's why out of all this bright, vivid color, we have that black cat there. Hi, Mom. I see that you're on here, and I see it's Amanda on here. Hi, Amanda. If you commented, I couldn't see it earlier. These lives are weird. Sometimes I can see comments and other times I can't. And so she is like seated upon a throne. We're not sure if there's like a pillow or anything she's seated upon. And it would look like, so the back of the throne, we have that orange that we've been referencing throughout the suit and the court cards of wands. That's very characteristic of that enthusiasm that the wands are known for. A lot of yellow. So I've noticed a lot of yellow and orange is used with these wands. Now, in the background, we do have what appears to be a bit of, well, over here, it looks to be mountainous, okay? And then over here, it's more of that desert element, which is synonymous with fire due to the degree of warmth and heat. That was referenced in something else that I read about, you know, the wands and the court cards. Now, with the sky, we have no clouds. We have full visibility. And yeah, like, again, we have that really awesome energy going on. And you can tell that leadership is still a burden. So it's not like this figure is going to show it because they're confident and they understand that they're people. So whoever's around them, they depend on this character to kind of be like their rock, their foundation. So even though like mountainous regions are consistent with, say, obstacles, with this region, we may not see any vegetation or growth, but they very much have somebody capable of leading them and giving them results and providing that inspiration to be able to drive people to better outcomes and to get them through obstacles. So I'm going to read down, like, to you guys all the various meanings as far as the descriptors for this card. So we have confident, generous, sometimes fierce, fiery passion, a love of life, happy, strong, a mastery of fire. So that's the important key word. This is someone who has mastered that element. She is the most sexual of all the queens, so she very much has that sexual energy, again, sitting with the legs apart. Determined, social, charismatic, vivacious, optimistic, courageous, and she's positive, uplifting energy, outgoing, friendly, considerate of the needs of others, but again, can appear self-centered. And so with love, we're looking at somebody who they would be seen as attractive. So this energy, if they're single, they're going to have a lot of people approaching them, trying to court them, which is a Southern way of saying date them or take them out. If this person, this energy is in a relationship, this could show that they're adventurous. So in order to keep the spark in a relationship, they know how to utilize, again, really focus that energy on keeping things spicy and interesting, okay, would be this character. Independent, cheerful, confident. So this figure in a relationship or even in just a platonic friendship, they're not going to be threatened by other people coming into the group, or say their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever energy that is, okay, talking to somebody else, because they're thinking they're the whole, soda in a bag of chips. Like they're the whole thing. They're awesome. So they're thinking, why would somebody go looking for somebody else when I'm the full package? That's this energy, and they literally own it. So like, I'm trying to think of like figures that are prominent to compare the energy to. Pamela Anderson has been on Netflix, and so she is commonly known as a sex symbol, especially with her time on Baywatch. Recently came out with her own book, her autobiography that her sons helped her write, about how it wasn't as great as what it may have seemed as far as like with the media and all that stuff. But she was very charismatic and so forth. I'm trying to think of who else. We've got Marilyn Monroe. Who else has it? Angelina Jolie. Okay, so these are, you're talking female energy. Okay, so that's kind of like the energy we're talking about. And again, very confident. With career, we're seeing somebody determined and passionate. They inspire and lead others. They are seen as a leader, even if it's in a not official capacity. Now, with finances, we're looking at strong financial decisions being made. So again, we have mastery over that fire element. So any financial decisions made with the Queen of Wands energy, they're going to know not to overspend, but to be very thoughtful in how they invest that money. There could be various endeavors or opportunities that excite them, but it's going to be very intuitive, as in our black cat. And despite all that fiery excitement, this individual is going to think about it and trust her gut. And then let's see here. As far as the symbols go, I reviewed the significance of the sunflower and the lions in the picture. And so with the sunflower being held in the left hand, and then it's even saying that it's even in the background as well on her throne. I didn't mention that. So we have them back there as well. That those stand for happiness, satisfaction, and fertility. Again, this queen is the most sexual of all the queens. So she is associated with fertility. And that would be the birth of various things, right? Not just like people, you know. And then with the right hand, we've got the wand, which they do describe as blossoming, which stands for life, you know. That's one descriptor I saw for it. And again, our ones can take different forms that we commonly talk about with these go lives between relationships and all the various forms, finances and career. But it shows, again, she can contain, focus that energy to have those productive results, And then our black cat stands for witchcraft and the occult, deeply intuitive. So that's why we have that little black cat and it's looking directly at us. I think they're cute. I think all little black cats, I don't care what color a cat is, I think they're cute. And I think that sums it up for the upright meanings. And then we always delve a little bit into reversals. And I always tell people, read reversals if they resonate with you. And if they don't trip about it. You just do what is comfortable with you and what resonates with you. So we're looking at, generally speaking, the opposite energy of the upright meaning of the card. So we're seeing somebody with their overall energy, again, male or female, that is demanding. Okay, so when it's upright, this is a leader. Leaders influence people because, yes, there's things that they ask them to accomplish as part of a team. Okay, but they do it in such a way to where the other person feels valued. They do not feel devalued. So if we're talking reversal, we're looking at somebody that is not controlling that fiery energy very well. So we're looking at the opposite of that, and that frustration and all that. That arrogance, being very egotistical, pompous. I think we've all had leaders in our life like that. It turns you off. You will go the other way down a hallway to avoid interacting with this person because they're coming with, they're going to do or say something that's going to get on your last nerve and you just don't have the energy for them. That is not a good leader, which is why it's associated with the reverse here. So it's being vengeful, low confidence, jealous. So again, we're going from a very confident figure, very comfortable with their body and their capabilities, to somebody, when it's in reverse, it's very threatened by others, And then also thinking of themselves, because when it's upright, this person is a great leader and ruler. They know how to take care of their people and get results. When it's in reverse, no, they don't have that. And temperamental. So again, we're looking at that fiery flame, that passion, that excitement, enthusiasm, not being contained and controlled and focused, which makes sense. So with love, I mentioned jealousy. This is also somebody that's argumentative. So when she's upright, this is also somebody who's strong with communication. Okay, they know how to converse with people because, again, they are seen as charming, natural born leaders, to where they lead with a sense of ease. They make it look easy when it's not easy being a good leader. This person makes it look easy. Okay, so when it's in reverse, we don't have that. So this would be, an example would be somebody saying, you'll do what I say because I'm your boss. They don't give you a rationalization. They don't give you a chance to assess with them or ask questions. It's a power play. They just want you to do what they're saying for you to do just because they're title. And as we all know, that is not how you gain the respect of people you work with. You earn it. You have to value them and advocate for them and make them feel safe to be seen as a leader, So here we'd have the queen saying, you'll do it because I'm the queen and I say so, which is not her upright energy. It's neglectful of, say, another person's needs. So in a relationship, this could be somebody not putting forth the effort to keep that spice in their relationship. Hi, Patrice. Good evening. Glad to have you here. So like we were talking about, again, a very sexual queen is the Queen of Wands, again, with those legs, right? Very comfortable with her body and very experimental and fun. So this person excels in relationships with intimacy. So if we're seeing it in reverse, we're seeing somebody who may not really be comfortable with their body. They might be a little morose, a little bored. So it's the opposite of that fiery energy. They're not willing to experiment and do fun things with their partner. So again, the opposite of that energy. With career, again, we got that lack of motivation. So it's the opposite of our fiery energy. Again, very selfish and jealous of others. The upright queen, no, she's not selfish or jealous. She knows, again, he or she, okay, because we're talking about the energy, they own it. They're intelligent, charismatic. They embrace their body for what it is. You don't have to be an itty bitty little thing to have this confidence. This is somebody who owns their body and their intellect, and they rock it. Okay, just think of whoever that is in your life. That is this energy, right? Well, when it's in reverse, it's not there. They're not feeling themselves. They could be a little bummed out, and especially with career, if they're not really happy with what they're doing anymore. It could be it's just not good for their energy. Maybe they're not feeling inspired. Maybe it's just not having that creative outlet. As far as like fire likes to be utilized with this card, focused, productive. If there's no opportunities to say advance and grow for such a charismatic person, they're going to get bored. They're not going to be a little wallflower wanting to be hidden and not advancing and doing great things wherever they work. If they're not provided enough room for growth, it's this type of person, that's what's going to happen to their energy. It'd be like a reversed energy. Their heart's not going to be in it anymore, And then with finances, it's generally one of the two things is what I've read about this card. It's somebody that is either too greedy, so they're not investing, okay? They're not spending money. They're a little too tight. Or they're overspending, getting lost with that energy, that exuberance. So it's one of the two. I've read both, but because and this is my take on it, we're talking about a departure from that fiery energy when they're upright. And everything that comes with it, right? So I would think if someone's going to be overspending, I guess so, because if she's upright, if this energy is upright, again, we have focused control of the fiery element, and that includes finances. So say if it's in reverse, then we lack that control. So I can see how it could go either way, And so that pretty well sums up the Queen of Wands. And let's see here. I see Sarah Thane's on here. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So no worries about showing up late. You can always catch like the first part of the replay on this just to catch everything I said about the card. And so no worries, So I'm going to show you guys the other cards like I always do for comparison. And so with this one, we have our Queen and she's alone. And so she's using that third eye. So again, that really ties in well with our little black cat. So most of our queens, honestly, actually all of them, have a very good, they're really in touch with their intuition, if that makes sense. And we have what they call the third eye here. So this person is very introspective, but she's focusing. So look at her hands. She is focusing the element of fire, okay, for her own ends, and is very confident to do so. You see how her body language, she is sitting upright. Her legs are I know growing up it was Indian style. I know that's not appropriate to say now, so it's like crisscross applesauce is what people call it. But she's just very much she's comfortable with her body. She's not trying to hide behind anything. This is a very, appropriately garmented person, but it's not you know what I'm saying? You can see her curves. She's embracing her whole package, her whole divine, her whole being. And here it just shows that she's in touch with the divine, her intuition, and able to focus. And then around her, we still have it very just kind of barren looking, which I don't know. I think between the two, I would prefer the Rider-Waite-Smith because I'm impartial to black cats and sunflowers and all, the playful use of color, which, you know, I always tell you guys, color has meaning with these cards, you know. So I'm still partial to that one. Now, I love my little crow deck, you know. So with here, just kind of note the similar symbols that carry over with these cards. We've got our sunflowers, our crown. We've got our Leo energy. So we've got the lions there. And so what we're seeing here is somebody very much embodying that typical Leo energy that we're aware of. And then we've got the sunflowers showing that production, that overall bright outlook, happiness. And then the sun, which, like we were talking about earlier on, these sunflowers that we see with our queen are from that major arcana sun card. Okay, so again, we've got that fiery energy. So it makes sense that those symbols carry over, you know? And like, this crow is not afraid of being eaten by, say, the two lions here. Again, a very strong, confident energy is what we have here. And they don't care about that crow that is using their heads as a perch with that wand. If anything, they're accommodating because the crow has influence. And like we were talking about, any great leader has to have influence over the people that work with them, or else, you know, you got turnover and you don't get the outcomes you want, right? So with this one, I love this one too. So we see our queen here. And so she's got the flame, and that would be her right hand. I have to look because when I show you guys stuff, it flips it like a mirror image. And then with her left, she's got the wand. So she's able to focus that flame, and she can make it as big as she wants or what have you, and then make it manifest in whatever it may be, relationships, career, finances, you name it. I like how the drawstrings of this hoodie are shaped like the element of fire. I thought that was a clever way of doing that. We have the orange that we commonly see with wands, meaning very enthusiastic and excited. And notice her legs. Again, I promise you, I'm not being perverse. You can look up the Queen of Wands. They'll talk about the sexual energy, I promise. So you see how she's open. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with our queen here, which I didn't point out. You see how their legs are open? They are not trying to hide their anatomy. So it gives this person a very confident, seductive quality. They are comfortable in their bodies, okay? And we have our black cat. Oh, he's so cute. Look at that. Again, meaning that this energy is in touch with the intuition. So that's why our little black cat is there. And you know, I always end these with the card, not based on Rider-Waite-Smith, to demonstrate the importance of, when you're learning, to have a deck based from the OG foundation of tarot, which would be your Rider-Waite-Smith, you know, because here, I love the art. I do. Like, this is a beautiful drawing of a lady. But see, we've got water. And so to me, this would be like a cups card. If you know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, this means it's a wand. Yes, they've got the queen down here. But it looks to me like her buddies are drowning. Like, and it looks like they might be hungry, or maybe they're struggling to get some air. And she's just like kind of chilling out, you know, like she doesn't seem to be in like a big hurry. Like, if anything, coming off the arrow that she's holding, there's a star, which gives me like the star vibes from like the major arcana with hope. You remember when we reviewed the star? Okay, but these guys, they're not supposed to be turned that way in the water. So, I mean, yes, I could see maybe I don't know. I don't even see the sexual energy like you know, they've always talked about with the Queen of Wands. Her legs are closed. She's looking down. It's like, again, how confusing would that be if you're trying to learn this stuff? Again, look for the similarities. We don't even have the use of the yellow and orange color, no sunflowers. There's no lions to represent that Leo energy. And then, I mean, our crows, like, they can be associated, like, think of, like, if you watch a Viking show, especially. So they're very similar to, say, Odin. So they would bring messages. They were very mystic, very revered, right? The Elman ravens, these black birds. But I don't know. Maybe you guys, if you see something different with this card, feel free to comment. But yeah. And when I think of three, sometimes I think of the Three of Swords, but I know that's just me trying to make sense out of this card. And then hanging up, we've got various stars hanging on a string in the background. It could be like somebody stringing somebody along, really. So let me hold up the other ones just so you guys can get a final look and compare. You know, and again, look at the similarities with them. And that's why even if you get another deck that's not like the classic Rider-Waite-Smith, it's okay as long as it has a basis in it, because usually there's different symbols that cross over. It makes it a lot easier to learn it versus if you have a non-traditional deck. It can get confusing, you know. So I think that sums us up for the Queen of Wands. And I will hop back on here. I will post a go live tomorrow afternoon. Probably, I would imagine, or maybe even in the morning. I've got errands I got to run in the afternoon. So sometime tomorrow morning, I'll hop on. I will go ahead and do the Queen, or not the Queen, but the King of Wands. That way you guys can catch it on a replay so that we stay on course. That way we can start the Suit of Swords on Friday. And I think that's the gist of it. And I think I mentioned it like at the beginning of my go live. I think here pretty soon, maybe this week, I might do a little tarot show and tell. So I pre-ordered this Buffy the Vampire themed tarot deck months ago from Amazon because I grew up, like many of us did, with Buffy the Vampire, you know, Michelle Gellar. And I haven't even opened it yet. This was on my doorstep right prior to my go live. My husband brought it in. So I'm going to show you guys the cards in case you have an interest. I'm going to make sure that it's good to go. I'll give you some of my own criticism about the things I like, what I don't like about the deck. And then you guys can look at the imagery and determine if you really love Buffy, if this would be a good deck for you. Because I'm always telling people, research these decks. Just like Honor told me, it's like dating. You cannot go just based on the box. Because, you know, think about somebody who's attractive and you think they got it going on. And then you get to know them and they don't have a really good personality to them, and then you're turned off by them. That's why you got to research a deck, because these are an investment, and if it doesn't resonate with you and you can't understand it, you're not going to use it, you know. So that's why I get onto Google, type in the name, go to images and see the imagery, and then read about it and see if it's based on Rider-Waite-Smith. And I think that is the gist. I always say that. I have so much on my mind, right? And I always try to kind of narrow it down. But I think that is it. So I value you all more than you'll ever know. I am so happy that you're in my group. Your presence is a blessing to me. And yeah, and then I will be at the Grand Slam tomorrow with Sharon and Kyle from 5 to 10. So come and see me. It'll save you from doing some dishes, and you can eat and get a reading, and then do some karaoke, which is fun. So that sums it up. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.